A lot of fans, Arsenal fans and fans of other clubs, after the game saying, well, yeah, you know, we should be putting teams away like it's 3-4, you know, what is it? You know, yeah, great defence. We've got a great defence, but it's not sustainable if it's going to have a lot of 1-0s. And what do you make of that? Do you think, is this sustainable? Because we are a dominant team when it comes to defending. In that game, we did not concede a shot on target all game. And remember, we're away from home. It's not like we're at home, we're away from home. But is that sustainable?
I think it's easier to be sustainable having a solid defence and a foundation to build up from, and then rely on a Gyökeres to click, rely on a Saka bit of magic, rather than have a calamity at the back and a load of world-class forwards up front, as we can see with Liverpool right now. I think once you have that foundation to build off, when you're going to these teams like the Fulhams, the mid-blocks, the West Hams and stuff, it gives you that base that you know that if you only need one chance, as long as you stay solid at the back, you just need that one chance. But on the other side, I do hear the fact that we're Arsenal at the end of the day. We don't want to be watching 1-0s every week. We do want to see that bit of creativity. We grew up on that creativity and flair and goals, and I do understand both arguments, but I think when you look at our defensive record so far this season, 3 in 11 games, that is unheard of. 3 goals conceded, and one was a 40-yard free kick, one was a corner, Voltemade, and then Haaland, who's scoring 5 a game at the moment. So I think if you think back, I can't think of any games so far this season where I felt worried, where I felt, oh, we're under the cosh here. Even City and Liverpool, I think we said off camera as well, we should have gone for them games even more. Looking back now, seeing how frail Liverpool are defensively, did we need to go over Marino there? Did we really need to do that? Looking at City, are they there for the taking? They seem to just be, I think Haaland's their top scorer. Their second top goal scorer has 1 goal. So it's like, if you can mark Haaland out the game, they're there for the taking. So I'm happy with the defensive stability over sort of relying on that attack. So yeah, I'm not too worried so far. Good start to the season.
It's interesting that Jack turns around and says I've been brought up on creativity. And things like that, like.
He's a bit younger than you, though, really. You know,
I've been brought up.
George Graham.
George Graham before that, like Terry Neal, like, you know what I mean. It's a shame my age here, like, but and there were games like that. There were games like, and I also think you have to take a little bit of away from Arsenal and say, look, you know, that Fulham are a decent side. Yeah. They had some decent players, you know what I mean? Like, I thought defensively they were pretty good. They had a threat, you know what I mean? Like, from wide areas and that. But we cancelled it out. And I always see, you know, people go, well, you know, like when we've won the leagues and all that, like, how many games were there in that thing when you think, we won 1-0 and you just moved on from it? There's probably loads of games. Yep. You know, you think back to when you beat Tottenham and you beat Man United away or Liverpool away, you know what I mean, when Merson went through 1-0 in 91 and all that. But I remember going to Sunderland away on a bank holiday and we winning 1-0, and it weren't the most prettiest game in the world, and you just, you know, Seaman makes an unbelievable save at the end of the game, and you walk away and you go, well, we won 1-0, it don't matter, you know. I think nowadays, everybody, because there's no internet then, and you know what I mean, there weren't mobile phones then, like, you know what I mean, and things like, yeah, oh God, I'm showing my age, but what I'm saying is now is that because of what the surroundings that we're in and everything now, there's more spoke about it, where back in the day you'd win 1-0, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but now it seems to be, oh, you've got to do this and got to do that. I look at that and go, you know what I mean, look, Fulham away, 1-0, we played a much better game against Fulham last season.
We drew.
And we drew. You know what I mean? So, listen, I think defensively, like, the thing is with me, I think, like, we're 2 games now. I know people turn around and go, well, it seems that you played West Ham down the bottom, right? Fulham are halfway up there, and your goalkeeper's not had to make a save. Come on. I think that, you know what I mean, there's got to be a little bit of credit for that. Yeah. And, you know, set piece again, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the other thing, like, we've been criticised a lot for that, but it's a serious weapon, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got to use all the weapons you can, and like you said, we've seen exciting Arsenal teams not achieve anything over the last few years. It's a results-based business, and we need to win trophies. And I think Arteta knows that I need to get this team over the finish line, however it looks. And like you said there, Jack, like, I'd much rather have that foundation and know that once Gyökeres settles, once Saka's fully fit, once Eze and Odegaard clicks, I actually think this team can get even better. Where if you haven't got that foundation, like Liverpool at the moment, you're scrambling trying to figure it out, and it's hard to fix in the middle of a season. It's probably harder for a defender to get used to a league as well than a striker, because if a striker scores goals, he's going to settle. So I think it also adds extra pressure to Arteta, because you're now looking, going, you've got the squad there that should probably go and win something, because we have got the best defence in the league. So I think it's a good pressure to have, but I think we're...
Were you saying that all this was used on your watch-along when it was like 0-0?
No, I'll be honest, right?
You're slating the team.
No, I wasn't, you know.
Yeah, this rubbish.
A lot of the games this season, I've actually... Look at this guy, he's a troublemaker. This is why it took so long to agree terms with this guy.
I still ain't.
Yeah. Because, you know, when we're doing the watch-alongs, I'm saying, look, at times it is a little bit boring. Okay. But if you walk out of that ground, you're going to the games. If you walk out with 3 points, you go, I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind how we win as long as we win. I think we are within our rights some days to say, look, I expect us to be a bit more free-flowing, maybe at home, maybe against lesser opposition. But if you got to go to Fulham after an international break, you haven't won there in the last couple of years, I've got no problem grinding out a 1-0 win. And no problem at all.
Another interesting thing on it, like, you know, we've got a game Tuesday against Atletico Madrid. Yeah. Didn't use a lot of substitutes, did he? So maybe he's like, you know, like he's looking at over 2 games, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to play a few more and everything like that. I think that, you know, that has to come into it as well. Like, you know, that you've got to play Saturday, then you've got to play Tuesday, then you've got to play Sunday again, then you've got to play like Wednesday. They're all games, so they're all, I know you're only focusing on one game, but for me, I did look at that and go, do you know, we didn't make that many substitutions.
But I think to be in this situation we're in and not
back, we're going to be in a stronger position.
Okay, that's a great point. Curtis?
Yeah, I mean, we sort of touched on that, didn't we? But I think to be in this situation we're in and not even be at our best yet, I think we've got to view that as a positive and think if that attack can sort of level up with what our defence is doing, I actually think we can even get even better. So I agree. I think early in the season, get the results and let the performances grow. And like he said, we've got about 4 or 5 players to come back from injury. We're going to struggle to get people on the bench when they come back. Jesus, Havertz, Odegaard, Madueke and Capio haven't even hardly seen him play yet. So
yeah. The other thing I'd say is that I don't think Saturday I don't think you class that as a bad performance.
No.
I think that is a performance in a different style. Like, obviously there's performances where you go and absolutely tear a team apart, but Lee, you touched on it earlier, right? There's other performances when you go away from home and you completely control a game. All right, it's a little bit nervy as fans when you're watching it because you're thinking it was only 1-0 and what if they equalise, and you know. But when you completely control a game and a team has not got a shot on your goal, those are the type of performances that win you titles. You can't do it every week, but you're going to have a few of those within the season. So I do actually think that was a good away performance. If that had been at home, probably would have been moaning. We'd be like, come on, we're supposed to put more on them. But I don't know what you think.
I think what you mentioned, the word sustainability there, and do we think it's sustainable? I think, as we mentioned earlier, it's a lot easier to sustain a platform when you've got a foundation there. And it's not just the Fulham game we're looking at. Like you said, we didn't concede a shot on goal. It's not like we only won...
In 2 games straight, like Lee said.
Yeah, it's not like we only won 1-0 because Raya made 6 saves and we got lucky. We won 1-0 and they didn't look like they were ever going to score. And we've got probably, 11 game platforms to choose from now. We've been the same since game week 1. We're hardly giving away any chances. So I think, as he said as well, Madueke coming back, who was brilliant. We were all giving loads of praise when he first started. Odegaard coming back with that creativity. I think keep the defence as it is, sustainability-wise. I don't think that needs to be a worry, and just rely on them attacking players clicking. I think, we can go up a level.
Ben White to get fitter and players like that to...
I think the Fulham game, you're right about that, Rob. Like, you know, when you look back at it, you actually, you know, Leno's made, I think, 2 really world-class saves. If they go in, you're 3-0, and you go, well, that's a different game and all that. I also think you've got to look at it at this moment in time, and I don't think people appreciate this as much. Like, you know, from the beginning of the season till the end of November, right? You've got international games in that as well, where you're getting broken up and everything like that. The momentum for Arsenal had before the last international break, you've got to get that again, Like, you know, and that takes 1 or 2 games and then it stops again. But also what you've got Champions League games in between this as well, like, you know. So you've got to change the team around a little bit, you know, give everybody so you can't get that momentum going as much. So when you get back after this, you're going to get that momentum going and all that, like, you know. But I do think you have to be very, very controlled, and you know, Man City done this for many years, so and Arteta will know this as well now, is that these games can take a lot out of you, so you don't want to, you want to try and conserve and serve. So when you get to March, April, May, you've got a lot more in the tank, and I think we haven't had that in the past. I think that that's something that we're managing at the moment. So I don't go too many. I get what the guy's saying, you know what I mean, like, about it, but I think at the end of the day, one game at a time, win. But before you know it, I think, I never knew this, that's 5 consecutive wins we've had on now. I didn't know that, like, you know what I mean? You just think like, oh really? Like, you know, and that's what you got to do. Before you know it, it's 10. And that's what you got to look to do.